Hi, can hear you. It's Technicolor, and today I have something very exciting to show you. So my shell challenge actually just completed, and we looked at everyone's shell submissions this past weekend. And I thought it would be fun to do a little tour of the submissions over here on YouTube. So let's check it out. So this is the actual shell that I had released, and I asked everyone, I'm gonna put this on the gallery and you can download this and you can turn it into anything that you want. Just do not change my exterior walls. And people turned it out. I will also post this down below, but this is actually the build that I turned my shell into. And this was so much fun, but let's check out what you submitted. So this one here was built by Kiwi Owl Simmer and Z. And this is Tech's Chestnut Ridge Bar, and just look at it. Look how incredible this looks. Everyone who had submitted to this shell challenge, I feel like everything just looked incredible. Everyone really turned it out. So many people had submitted, and everything is just beautiful. And I really fell in love with this build. There is a little bar over here. Over on the other side, we've got some little entertaining spaces. We've got some little tables out here. There is, of course, a bathroom. And there is some outdoor space as well. Then on the second floor, there is some more space to just sit, hang out, dine, and then, of course, so many tables up here as well. It looks so much like it could be an actual bar, and it was incredible getting to tour this live on stream. This build right here is by Soul Crusher 7, and I was so excited to tour this build because Soul had been updating me, and she was so excited for this shell challenge because she had just gotten a whole bunch of new packs and was so excited to build this and spent so much time on it. And I am like so upset for her because I think it was at least once she had worked like so many hours on it, and then the game crashed and she lost all of her work. If you're a simmer, you know that feeling. So she's a bit newer to building, and she just had so much fun doing this shell challenge. And of course, that's the whole point of shell challenges, at least in my opinion, is it's not supposed to be stressful. It's not supposed to be something that like you're like, oh, I have to be the best, or oh, I'm not really a builder. Like, it's just supposed to be fun. It's just supposed to be something that you could turn into a house, you could turn into a cafe, you could do whatever you want. And I loved the story that Soul came up with for this one, and it was really fun touring this one. I love that you come right in the front door, and there is, of course, this space to just hang out. And we have this little kitchen over here. We have a little dining area. We have a coffee bar. Love coffee. Over here, of course, there is the living room. And some of this is from the new Businesses and Hobbies pack, and I love this planter. I love the wall divider, and it just separating the space was just so smart. There is a place to barbecue outside. There's even a labyrinth. There's a maze right here. There is a carport, and there's a gazebo over here. On the second floor, there is just a little office space. There's some creativity spots over here. There's gym equipment. And then of course, over here we have a bedroom with their own little walk-in closet and a primary bathroom over here. But then things get a little weird because on the top floor, there's this. There was there's a story here. I also really loved one of the first things that I noticed when we were touring this was this duck. And I forgot for a moment that these like little little squares over here show you like what in live mode will pop up. So of course there's some different type of ducks in this little pond, but this is like the duck statue sized up, and I was just so taken with this because it's just so funny. I loved it. I was just so excited when we were touring like the exterior, and I saw this and I was like, I actually gasped. Something that was very cool was Soul Crusher actually told her niece about my shell challenge, and her niece ended up submitting. So this is Steve Mickey on the gallery's submission, and it's just so cute. I love the little cat mailbox. I love this little entryway, and I am just so taken whenever anyone remembers the paw prints and like the little extra bits that we got from cats and dogs, because the little muddy paw prints going into the little doggy door, I just love it. Coming in through the front door, there is this little mudroom area, and of course some more paw prints. And then I loved this. There's so many spaces where there's just greenery above like door frames or whatever, or on top of these cabinets. And I never would have thought to do this. And I just think it's so sweet. It's so adorable. But there's a little kitchen over here. There is the little reading nook over here. We've got a little coffee space, a little bar. We've got a little dining room over here. And then on the second floor, there is a little bit more of an entertainment space. I hate when the gallery like just eats items. It's happened to the best of us. But then of course you've got a primary bathroom and bedroom, and I just think it was so cute, and I'm just so grateful that so many people submitted to this build. Of course, we've got a gnome problem. You might have noticed some gnomes, you know, just hanging around in this build. If you want to go back, you could check it out now that you know. Then for something a little different, Mythical Maximus actually created this one, and this is just an exterior build, which is totally okay. I did tell him that if he would like to furnish the interior, and then I would tour that on stream as well if he wanted to do that. But this exterior is just wild to me. So I love the boarded up windows. I love that there's just like the dead trees, there's like trash everywhere. And I just think that this looks incredible. Like I never would have thought to do something like this, but this is what I love about shell challenges is people will just look at it. I almost always just see a residential build, but people will see this and they'll be like, oh, I have a story here. Or, oh, I'm going to make this into a shopping center or some murder house in Copperdale. Like, what are the odds? This is just so incredible. Another lovely streamer friend of mine, Christina is Prada over on Twitch, surprised me with this submission to my shell challenge. Like, look at this. This is such a huge space. And there's so much detail. She said that she loves terrain and she loves like landscaping, and it is so obvious. Like, look at all of this. Even inside the pond, there is all this decoration, and I am just blown away. This was such a fantastic build, and this was one of the earlier ones that we toured, and I was like, yo, everyone is gonna turn this out today. And everyone really did. Everyone just gave this challenge their all this time, and I can't wait to do our next shell challenge. Christina actually lives in Japan, so she paid a lot of attention to Japanese culture and architecture and everything. And she made things so that it would exist as if it would in Japan. And something that I thought was very interesting was she was telling us little tidbits. So there's usually not things hanging on the wall. The hallways are usually not lit. And you can see that here. There is, of course, a little dining area and like a little living room space. And it is just beautiful. There's a bathroom over here. Everyone's use of the space, because the shell was challenging. Everyone just utilized the space here just incredibly. And I'm just blown away. The second floor has all of the bedrooms, and it was just so nice to just see everything. It felt so calming, and I can get very nervous when I'm doing the shell tours because everyone has just like given their all, and I don't want to like disappoint anyone and like miss anything. And this came at a perfect time during the stream because it just calmed me down. Everything was just so serene and just beautiful and calming, and Christina did such a good job here. This build right here is by Tornasuk, and I was just blown away because like there is this lovely little pool space over here. There's this beautiful greenhouse that was just incredible to tour. I have built greenhouses before and they've never looked this cute. But you have the main space over here, which is the actual shell. And we have a little office space. We have a living room. We have a kitchen over here. I loved this little table. I just thought it was so cute. On the second floor, of course, we've got a bedroom, and we've got the little entertainment space over here with this massive TV. Like, who would not want that? And I just thought this was just so cute. Now, this build is by my friend Nick Simulations, and his builds are always just so fabulous. And it's insanity to me, again, that this is from my shell. Like, the fact that people can look at just the same thing, everyone gets the same shell and everyone turns it into something different, and it's just phenomenal to me. So you've got this little driveway over here, and then you come in here through the front door. There is this lovely little foyer. I love that he sunk this down into the ground. I never would have thought to do that. Something that I thought was very interesting was there's a little closet space over here. And then there's just like a little reading nook. But then behind here, this is not a wall. This is one of the dividers from businesses and hobbies. And it goes between this space that has the closet and then the bedroom over here. And it was just like, what? It just came together so nicely. And then of course there is a walk-in closet, and then there is this outdoor shower and tub space. And I also was like, Nick, I need to know what you used here because this looks incredible. And he kept saying it's the dividers from businesses and hobbies. And I'm like, no, not this. I want to know, like, what did you do with this? And he wasn't lying. He literally used tulle to put it on its side, and look at that. He hit it into the rock over here. You can kind of see more of the actual divider space over here, and it's like, who would have thought to do that? Then coming back into the main hallway, you have this bathroom over here, and there is a laundry room. And then of course, tucked back here is a little office space, and it's like a his and his space. And it's just so cute. It's just so well done. In the backyard, there is this pool that looks out onto this pond space, and there is a place to entertain. I was like, how did you do this? And it's literally just a debug item. And like, how? Who would think to do that? Like, the creativity of the people who submit to these shell challenges is just off the charts. On the second floor, of course, there is the kitchen with the dining space. There is the living room over here. There is another backyard space that wraps around. And then you have a space over here that you can dine and you can just grill and everything out here. It was just phenomenal to see this on stream. Now, this build is actually by my boyfriend, Cinnabon Andy, and he made a freaking castle. Like, look at this. This is just wild. What's even more wild about it is the fact that he doesn't have very many packs, and he doesn't even have life and death, which is where this lot is. he asked me specifically to tour it on this lot, and he used backyard stuff, Castle Estate kit, Blooming Rooms kit, and of course base game. And Blooming Rooms, he used a plant. Backyard stuff, he used literally just this bowl of fruit. And the majority of the items were from the Castle Estate kit. And this is what he came up with. So you come in through this main gate over here, and you have the little drawbridge, because of course it's a castle, so it needs a moat. And then you come in here through the front doors, and you have your little entertainment area over here. You have a kitchen over here with a dining space. There is a bar. There is a balcony out here. In here is a bathroom. And then going up the stairs to the second floor, there's this hallway that leads into all these other bedrooms. And there is this more purple bedroom over here. And that has its own ensuite bath. And then we've got this bedroom over here, which is our navy bedroom with its own ensuite bathroom. And then of course we've got a little office over here. And this is just incredible. Like, like, how do you come up with that? And then of course there's another balcony over here with a telescope. Also, another little thing that I need to show off in this build is Cinnabon Andy went crazy and had these shelves over here, and I didn't even realize that it's not just regular shelves at first. He told me that he was a little disappointed that I didn't react more to this, but of course you can see the bar over here. And these are the matching countertops. And he just shoved them into the wall. And that is how he created these shelves. Like, how incredible is that? And then Marina Sky built the Clay Cup, which is a small business venue. And I mean, look at this. The attention to detail. And you can see over here, I didn't realize it until we went up on here, but all of these are light strips that we got from the new Businesses and Hobbies pack. And she individually placed these everywhere, and it just adds to the charm of this building. It is just phenomenal. Now, what is very cool about this build is it is a small business residential. So there is, of course, the small business on the main floor, and you can kind of see in over here. But then on this side, we have an entrance to an apartment upstairs. So you can see on that main floor that there is this space where you can get some coffee, you can get some candy, and then on the other side, there is the place to make pottery and do some art. And it just looks incredible. It is such a smaller space, but she utilized this space in this shell challenge phenomenally well. So did everybody. I was just blown away by what people had looked at this and said, oh, I'm going to make this into this. And it just looks like it's not a shell. Of course, the entrance to the residential spot is beautiful, and you have this little entryway. There is storage underneath the stairs, and then you just head on upstairs and look at this apartment. The living room has this entertainment center, and these are the bookshelves from the new Businesses and Hobbies pack. And I think this is from Eco Lifestyle, and it's just like an accent table. And look at this. It just looks like it was made this way. It looks like it's just like an all-in-one entertainment center, and it looks beautiful. We have a little office space tucked in back here. And of course there's music. And then this is the kitchen, and it has its own little dining area over here, and it doesn't feel stuffy. And what I thought was really cool is she had used a half wall here instead of a full wall, and it just adds to the character, and it makes this space feel intentional. And you might be asking yourself, well, where's the bedroom? And it's tucked away back here, and it's just so cute. It's a much smaller bedroom, but it really doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel weird. And the color palettes that she used, everything, I swear, everyone just turned it out with this shell submission. And there's even a space up here that you can climb up this lattice ladder, and you have like the balcony for the residential space, and then there's this upper area, there's gardening space, there's a place to just relax and sunbathe. And I'm also very grateful to Marina for being the only person who built in Nordhaven, and I am just like blown away by this world. And it doesn't even look like this looks out of place here. She did a really good job, and everyone did a really good job. We are going to do so many more shell challenges as time goes on. So if you would like to participate in these, be sure to follow me over on Twitch. My name is just Teknikolour over there. But if you liked this video, and I really hope you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.